you can turn stuff in late in this class. This class, we have the syllabus has its objectives, and that's what I go by. So as long as you have all the stuff in by the end of the semester, you're good. Now, I would strongly encourage you to keep on top of it, just because it all builds on each other. And you get to week 16, that's really precious time, and you don't want to have to be catching up during that time. So anyway, you can't turn stuff in though throughout the semester. Now, your grade to date may look bad because it won't have the latest up to date stuff in it. But other than that, it's there's no reason not to turn it in, and you will not get penalized for it either. So don't think just because you missed the due date that you can't turn it in. You can, and you're encouraged to. Okay, today we will go over the Chapter 6 handout, which I sent out. It's also on Blackboard, but I did not pull it up for myself. Okay. And let me kind of go over just a basic thing about this, the stuff we're going to cover. Okay, here's the basic idea behind it. So let's say I'm selling this little car, and let's say I paid $5 for it. I sell toys, toy whatever, toy dealer. So I bought it for $5, and I sell it for $8. How much profit did I make?
$3.
$3, right? Everybody knows that, right? If I bought it for $5 and I sold it for $8, I made $3. Okay, now in accounting, I had a piece of paper here, and I don't know. Here's my piece of paper. In accounting, we are going to have kind of our own terminology for that. So paid $5 for a toy car. For $8. This is what this would look like to put it into accounting language. It would look like this: sales or revenue, either one, would be $8. The cost of goods sold would be $5. That's what it cost me. That was the.
The cost to buy or to sell.
That's the cost that we paid for it.
So why didn't you pay paid and you put sold?
This is the terminology, cost of goods sold. That's why they're going to say it. And again, it's it is kind of putting it into a quirky accounting language, but that's kind of what it is. And they call what's left over the gross profit. So it's called the gross margin. So now, when I told it to you, everybody knows that we made $3 on it. This is kind of putting it into accounting language, and it is kind of a weird language. And cost of goods sold means this good that I sold, this thing, what did it cost me? Now, notice when I sold it, whoever bought it took it with them. It left. So I no longer have this toy car anymore. I no longer have this $5 toy car. It left. No, I'm glad it left because I made $3 on it, but it still left. So it isn't really like cash going out. These are goods that went out, goods that left the place, and what did we pay for them? And it is kind of its own language. Now, in that sense, like in any language, you come up with names for stuff. In English, we call this a pen, right? And we all agree that this is a pen. So if you say you want a pen, I know exactly what you're talking about. Or if I say I want a pen, whatever. We both, everybody knows what, that this is a pen in English, but other languages call it something else. And as long as everybody knows what it's called, that's fine. And so that's kind of why we have this kind of terminology in accounting. Yeah, it's quirky, but everybody's got to kind of agree on it. So that, the cost of goods sold means, what did you pay for this? And it's sold, it left. Whoever we sold it to took it with them. So I have this $5 car. They gave me $8, but they took this $5 car with them. So that was the cost of whatever it is I sold, the cost of product sold or inventory sold or however you want to put it. But, the terminology.
The cost of the product that you sold. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, the cost of with whoever's selling, what they paid for it. Yep, and this whole inventory is really on cost. That's, the cost of this, how do we account for it? Again, the concept is real easy. And, you pay $5, you sell it for $8, you made $3. Everybody knows that. It's kind of just putting it into this kind of weird accounting language that's can be sometimes kind of tricky. Okay. So, all right. So the Maze Corporation had the following. So they had January sales, they sold 170 units. Maybe he's a little brighter. Okay, so they sold 170 units and they sold at $15 each. Now, these are the units down here. This is what we paid for them. So they made money on them, right? They sold them for $15, they cost $10 each. So whatever, $5 each. So anyway, so we're going to put in the sales, and the sales are usually the easy part of these. And then we're going to go to the inventory stuff. All right. So let's do the easy part. Let's do the sales first. Okay. Yeah, I like caps. Okay, so we have some units that we sold. And the price was, so these are for January. We sold each of those for $15. For Mr. Calculator. I'll put on Mr. Calculator Cam.
So 170 by 15, 170 by 15, 2550.
Yep. I got two. So this will be our total sales. That's the money coming in. Now, some of this inventory, though, went out. Let me see here. The total units available, the total units we could sell. Well, I'm going to bold all these so it can be seen easier. Okay, so the total units we could have possibly sold was what, 250?
Yeah, 250.
Okay. So we ended up selling, we sold 170 of them. So here's what we have to do. We have to find the cost for those ones we sold. Now, notice there's some that we didn't sell, right? So we're going to see, okay, these units we sold 170 of them. We got to get the cost for those units that we sold. So coming down here, so cost of goods sold. And this will be for the January units sold. We have 170, just like above.
Yeah.
Now, we're not looking at the selling price, we're looking at the cost for those. Oops,
The cost, which is $10.
Yep. So these are the costs. So they're all $10. So, okay, so we multiply this by the cost of $10.
170 by 10. 1,700.
Yep. So this will be the total cost of, wait a minute, I did this wrong.
It is?
No, that coloring.
Oh.
This is for the cost. So notice something here, though. I want to make a point of this. These two are always going to be the same.
Okay.
We sold so we sold 170 of them. So this is the selling price. The selling price was 15. But the cost down here was 10. Now that's good that it's less because we don't even need money. Okay, so this would be our total cost of goods sold. It would be the 1,700. I'm going to get rid of some of these rows we don't need. And get them on the same page. So this is what this would look like. Calculate the gross profit. It would look like this. We have sales. I'm going to bold all these so we can see them. So our sales were 2550.
2550, yeah.
Now the cost of goods sold, these are the goods that left the place. So we don't have these 170 goods, they left the place. So this is cost of goods sold.
Okay.
And at 1,700 is a minus.
Yeah.
Because they walked out the door.
When my mom was in class, did it start? Did it start? What's it called? Can I have my dinner now? How to, what's it called? Taco shells ready? Huh?
Okay, so
Is it ready?
tell us what is
850.
850?
Mhm.
So this is our what they call the gross profit. Sometimes called gross margin, same thing. So if you see it in another book or something, it's gross margin. That's what they. Right, for us we call it gross profit. So this is the profit that we made on it. Goods. So $2,550 came in. These are actually goods that left that we paid $7 before they left, and we made $850 out of it. Okay. Now here's the thing. For our ending inventory down here, actually, I'm going to copy this down so that it gets closer to it. You don't have to do this. I'm just doing it to put it on the same screen. Now, notice that we really don't have these 250 of units available anymore
Enough,
because we sold.
170 out.
Yep. Oops. Okay, so our ending units. Here's the ending inventory.
Will be 80.
80.
80, yeah.
And they'll be at, these are all at the same price, so this will be at, so those are the ones that were sold. And so this is the leftover. These are sort of, you can also think of these as the ones that were not sold.
So it's 100.
So I got rid of that. Some more room here. Okay, yeah, so this is our ending inventory. And this is for January.
Mhm.
So we have 80 units. And the cost is
Is $10.
so
Which is 800.
so this will be the total. Probably more accurate, the total cost of our ending inventory. Oops. I'll make this a different color. Make it turquoise. So this will be our ending inventory, what's left over. This is what was not sold. And so the next period, we would start out with 800 in that account, 80 units at $10 each, and try to sell those. Question on that thing?
I didn't want to stop you in the middle, but I think I pulled my sheet off of a Blackboard, and I think it's the wrong sheet on there. The wrong handout.
You know what? You're right. You're right. It just hit me. I updated this one. I foolishly didn't update the one on. Okay, yeah. Let me.
It's in the email though.
Yeah, but it still should be in. It still should
I
have,
know you should correct it, but it's still in the email.
yeah. No, let me correct it and get you guys the right one. By the way, by all means, if this happens in the future, stop me. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's all right. Yeah. Give me. I'm gonna stop sharing. Give me like a minute or two, and I'll. Yeah, I updated it. There's a couple. I had a couple of things I didn't like about the one that I had before, because some of the numbers would come out to be exactly the same. For instance, the you'd have like a 30 units here and 30 units there, and it would look like that they were the same units, and they weren't. So I updated it and foolishly did not update it in Blackboard. Yeah, this one should say fall on it, is the updated one. And I will, one more, and I will be done. Ah. Sadly, I thought that I had. That's correct. Let's, okay, let me. Okay, they're up now, so I'm just gonna quick check. Okay, I think they're all good now. Sorry that if you're using the ones off the Blackboard, if you do me a favor, just download the other ones off the Blackboard handouts. It's a stupid oversight on my part. Every day I've probably taught this class, I don't know, 100 times. I've been teaching since 1994. So
Wow, that's a long time.
It's been a while, but I've taught this class like a million times, and every time I teach it, you know, go through. Oh, I can do that better. This is, you know, this is lousy. I got to fix this and that. So anyway, I was looking through the handout, and I was like, okay, this can be, you know, I don't like this part of this part. So anyway, but when you do that, then you gotta, you know, update the stuff. So sorry about that. All right. Let's see. Oh, I gotta share my screen again. Well, here, let me leave this up for a little longer than for you guys. That and what we're going to find out is that of all of these things, this cost of goods sold is the one that's going to be the real headache. This is the one that can be difficult. I mean, we're going to do one more where they're the same price, but sometimes when the prices change, especially. When it can become difficult. So just to give you kind of a heads up, you know, one of these was $10, and then the next ones we bought were 11. You know, okay, well, that'll change things. It'll depend on which ones you sold, which ones you should sell. You sell the $10 ones, the $11 ones, whatever. So, you know, and we'll go into that probably after break. What time is it? Yeah, after break, we'll go into that one. Okay, and then the ending inventory is kind of what was not sold. Okay, we'll go on to this next one. I'm going to do something here. I'm going to bold everything, the whole thing. It can be seen more easily. Okay, so this one, number 2. We have a few more layers of inventory here, but it looks like they're all the same price, so that's not gonna be too hard. And so kind of the same thing. So this is gonna be our sales. So this is money coming in. The inventory, which turns into cost of goods sold at some point when we sell it. We have these. And again, we're making money on these, obviously, right? We're selling them for 50. We paid 20 for them, so that's fine. But the question is, now we gotta, so you know that you're gonna make what, $30 on each of these that you sell. So you know that. I mean, everyone knows that, but it's getting it into this kind of accounting speak that we use can be the difficult part. Okay, so our sales. And sales are actually pretty easy for any company usually. Whatever, when you handed them the whatever, what did they hand you back? That's the sales. So it's usually not too much of a problem to get the sales. The cost can be a little bit trickier though. So 200 units. At 10,000.
10,000, yeah.
Okay, so we sold these units. These are sales. So that's what came in. And the question is, well, what did we give up? What was paid out? And so that's what we come down here for. So this is called the cost of goods sold. And the goods are just your inventory, cost of the inventory you sold, right? Cost of the, whatever, however you're gonna think about it. They generally use cost of goods sold. Not to confuse you even more, in business, a lot of times you'll see this is abbreviated as COGS.
If I may ask, where do you get the 200 from?
The units.
It's supposed to be 240.
What'd you see? 240?
Oh, okay, never mind.
No, the 240 is here. Yeah, there will be 240 total for the.
Right.
Okay.
We ain't got
Okay.
that.
So there's
right.
some ending inventory. And again, it's possible you sell all your inventory, but a lot of times, well, actually, with the COVID, I don't know if you guys remember, you go into the stores and the shelves are all empty. So it is very possible you could have I'll never forget walking into the Sam's Club, not really paying attention to the news too much, Go to Sam's Club, what happened? Are you guys closing? No. So anyway, so cost of goods sold. So we had to figure out these units that we sold. I'm gonna be lazy and copy those. So the units that we sold 200 units, and
That's 20.
yeah, $20 each. So this,
$20.
so it'll be the cost. What did I do? I lost a column.
Right, you lost the column, right? Your times.
All right, there we go. I got my column back. Okay.
Right.
You know, instead of taking shortcuts, that's what I meant to say. Don't take shortcuts, just do it. And, okay, so this will be the cost.
That's 4,000.
So this is the total cost of what we sold.
$4,000.
Okay, so this is
What's sold?
now again, when we go through this, be careful that the units sold and the cost of goods sold will be the same units. These are the same.
Mm-hmm.
No, these are the same ones. So these ones that we sold, we paid 4,000 for them. We need to get rid of some of these rows just because we need them. I can hopefully get this on the same page. Yeah, we'll be able to. Okay. So gotta get the gross profit. So we have our sales, money that came in.
10 grand.
Yep. Cost of goods sold.
4 grand. Minus 6,000.
Yeah, this is stuff leaving.
Mhm.
And then what's left over is our gross profit.
Yep. It's pretty easy, I guess.
Keep that attitude.
Yeah, it's just a lot of organization, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and it really, the concepts of it are fairly easy. It's just even without this class, you would know that if you
Right.
bought something for $20 and you sold it for $50, that you
Yeah.
make a profit of 30 on each one. But yeah, it's just kind of putting it into this kind of a format that business people are familiar with. Yeah, my first job as an auditor at Navistar, they make trucks and engines and stuff. Anyway, I remember this one guy kept talking about cogs. Now, engines have cogs, but he kept talking about cogs, and then I realized he's talking about cost of goods sold. So it's say cogs. And in other places I went where we talk about cogs. Okay, now the ending inventory is, let's see. Oh, wait a minute. I skipped a step.
Total units available.
Yeah, this is the most we could have sold. So the most you could have sold was the 240, right? So if we sold everything, we would have sold 240 units. We couldn't sell more than 240 units because we don't have more than 240 units. The units actually sold though were 200.
I don't know which one I want.
Ending inventory will be 40 units.
40 units. Yeah. So there's 40 units at $20.
Yep.
40
Okay.
units.
40 units at
$20.
I'm gonna make that turquoise just to separate it out. So this is, and this will be the inventory we'll go. So this is the ending inventory in January. So when we start February, this will be the beginning inventory.
Oh, okay.
The next day it'll be what, this is what was left over at the end of January. So the next day it'll be. So, all right. So I'm just going to copy that one down. So I should be able to remember that, but based on my track record tonight, maybe we better. So this will be our ending inventory. Okay, so the end of January.
That's- And the inventory ending January. 800.
And so this will be our,
Ending and the total cost ending inventory.
yep. And these are things that were not sold.
Not sold yet.
So, yeah, so this will be the not sold amount.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the total units available, those are either sold or not sold.
Mm,
They're one or the other, right? If they're sold,
Right.
that's the cost of goods sold. If they're not sold, they're an ending inventory.
mhm.
Okay. Time for the wacky part. Well, we'll go ahead and get started down here. Okay. Oops. Spacing here. For number 3, we have a problem.
Mm,
And what is it?
mm.
Each company has the following units. Oh, they have different prices.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have items at different prices. So we purchase these items at different times, at different prices. The prices change, they go up, they go down, whatever. But when you have different prices now, it becomes a little bit trickier because your profit's going to depend on which ones you sold. Right? You know, these are different. And so your earning inventory is going to depend on which ones you sold. Will be different. So
Mm.
again, the sales are easy. In fact, they're so easy. Let's go ahead and do the sales first, and then we'll get into these down here.
Units 40. Price 35.
Okay, so units, 40 of them.
It's 1,400, I think.
800.
14, ain't it? Got 14.
Let's see the total sales.
14,
1,400.
1,400, yeah.
And so this is what they took in. 800. Now, as far as what goes out, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. And I'm gonna come up here. I'm gonna alter this thing up here a little bit
Mm.
because yeah. First in, first out, often called FIFO,
Mhm.
and they'll just call it FIFO. They won't tell you anything else about it.
First in, first out.
Yeah, what they really mean is first in was the first ones that was sold.
Oh, okay.
So when they talk about out,
So those that came in first.
Can
were
he
those
explain
that
it?
were sold first.
yeah.
I believe she let him explain it. This is irritating.
So we're gonna say that the first ones in were the ones that we sold. First ones we had in our inventory were the first ones sold. And which is probably the way things mostly happen. Right? The first ones you had in were probably the first ones you sold. And if you think about it, coming down here toward layers of inventory, So we had inventory on January 1st, and then we bought some more on January 10th. If we made a sale on, say, January 5th, there's no way it was from the second one, right? It couldn't have been. And jump in the time machine and go, so usually it is the first one's in, the first one's sold. So this is probably the first in, first out is kind of the actual way that most things, the flow of inventory to cost of goods sold is usually that way. The first one's in, the first ones to go out. And so that's what this method says. Okay, it's assuming the first ones in are the first ones that were sold. Okay. So coming down here, can be a little bit different than we did before. Oops. So the cost of goods sold units
40.
be 40. Now, this is going to look a little strange, maybe more sense later on, but we need to find the cost for 40 of those units. Again, coming up here, which ones were the first ones in? The
You said the
January-
$20.
70
Yeah.
at 20.
Yep. So the first ones in were right here. Didn't mean to do that.
Is that an entry need the cost for? Or those just notes?
No, well, this is kind of, what we're gonna find is sometimes you can't always get it from the same, you may have to get it from more than one layer, and that's why it's gonna be like this. Now, for what we're doing here, it doesn't really matter too much, but anyway, I'm gonna say, okay, we're gonna go to this beginning layer. And there's 70 in that layer, so can we get the cost for 40 out of it?
Yes.
Yeah, there's 70 available. We only need 40 of them. Now, we're not going to take all 70. We're just going to take what we need, which is the 40. And this is going to look stupid, but we'll make that into we still need the cost for, and in this case, we don't need any more costs. We got all the costs. Okay, so so the cost was 20.
Yeah.
3 times 20 is 800.
800, yeah.
So these are the cost. And so this is the total cost. And again, even though we're doing this a little bit different than before, it's still the same. This is, you sold 40 units, you need the cost for 40 units. Okay, so gross profit. This would be the same.
So what was different? Because you said to need the cost for it in the first price in first for the $20.
The first one did, yeah. Now, here's where we're going to have a little bit of trouble, though, and that is we sold 40 of these first ones.
Right.
So when it comes to the ending inventory, we're going to have more than one layer. We're going to say, okay, we sold, take 40 out of that.
40 out of the 70. Okay.
So we'll do that. We'll do that in a second. Let's get this thing in first.
Okay.
1400. Oops.
What's 800? That's possible.
600? I think it's 600.
Yep. Mhm.
Just for fun, I'm gonna put these. So I made $600 profit on this. Okay, now coming to the ending inventory. So this first one, let's take a look here. We sold 40.
Yeah,
So
minus 40, so it's 31.
still sitting in that beginning, where are we at? Still sitting in that beginning inventory. $30.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, so notice that we no longer have this 70 up here. This is really what's left over is down here.
Right. Mhm.
And I am going to change these into our ending inventory color of these like this. So there's still 30 in that from that first layer, and then 50 were never sold
50.
at all.
Right.
So I'm going to copy these and go down to the bottom of the page. Put it together, I guess. Hey. Just getting a little room down here so it'll fit. Okay. So our ending inventory. Units. Cost. And now I really messed up my spacing.
Hmm.
Okay, so hey, yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, so we had 30 units at 20. And we had 50 units at 3. Okay. 600. 50 times 23, I should be able to do, but 1,150.
Yep.
yeah.
So this will be our total, 1,000.
170. Oh, okay. Hmm.
So we have these 2 layers. So here's what's going to happen though. The first ones in, starting in February, are going to be these 30. We're going to sell those first. Next we'll go to these, and then whatever we purchase in February.
Mhm.
Like that. So these layers just keep, they can go on. By the way, the accounting talk, they'll call these pools for some reason. They call these, each one of these, I call them layers because it kind of looks like a layer. but they'll call them pools. But yeah, so you got to kind of keep these, up to date, basically. So, well, I tell you what, we're going to do a couple more of those. Let's go ahead and take a break, though. Back and go on to number 4. So let's say be back. What time is it?
6:53.
So come back at 7:03.
Yeah, thanks.
7:03. Oh, 10 minutes.
Pauline, is that too small? Or can you see it?
It's good. Thank you.
Okay. Wait, is that 1 or 2? It's 2. Okay. Okay. Excuse me. Oh, I'm a minute over. What am I doing here? Okay, so we'll back to this. Okay, so first in, first out, and I am gonna be lazy. I'm gonna come up here. That's what I'm gonna teach you guys is how to be lazy. How to be lazy. It's a skill you'll use your whole life. So it's a life skill. All right. So again, we're talking about first in, first out. And when we talk about first out, what do we mean is first sold? So we're assuming those are the first ones sold. The sales, well, let's do the sales. Sales are easy. So we'll do the sales first. Let me zoom in a little bit.
That's 4,050.
2050. Like that.
Yep.
And so we sold 90 of those. And now for the tricky part, and that is and the cost of goods sold. Okay. Okay, so we need the cost for 90 units. And we're assuming that the first one's in or the first one's sold. So where do we go to for the first?
$20.
Yep.
40. Mhm.
So these are the first ones in. So this is where we're going to start at. Now we can't get all 90 from that. We only get 40.
Yep.
Cost is 20. I'll do the calculations later. Okay, so we still need to find the cost for. Yeah. So we had 90, we need to find it, so we still need what, 50?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay, so we need to find the cost for 50, so we're gonna go to the next ones in.
25.
Now, remember this though, this first layer is gone and it's not coming back.
Mhm.
So we are not gonna sell those again, ever, they're gone, they left. Now, this next one has 70 in it, are we gonna take all 70?
50.
Only 50, we only need 50, we're gonna take 50, so we need 50 from that layer. Okay. I didn't space these out very well. Ah. There we go. All right, so we can take 50 from that layer. And those are at 25. And this is gonna look silly, but I'm gonna put it in anyways. We don't need the cost for anymore, right? We're done now. We have all of our costs that we need. And you'll notice something here though, that these layers all have to add up to that 90, right? So the,
It does, 1540.
It's 1250.
40 units. 50 units. This is 90.
okay, yeah, so this equals,
80,
800.
800. And this is
50.
1250.
2050.
Yeah,
Oops, that's not right. Hold on. Okay, so these would be the,
That would be the total cost.
so this would be our total cost of goods sold to be that. So I want to show you something though down here, and that is the units in your layers, it still really is the same thing we did before. We're just taking it from more than one layer. You know, this 90 units. You find a cost for 90 of them, and we're just taking them from different layers, but it still is the same thing. We're just finding the cost for 90 units. They just come from different layers. But, you know, it's basically the same thing as we did before. You sold 90 units, you got to find the cost for 90 units. It's just that they're coming from more than one layer, but there's nothing that equation really hasn't changed. That you have to find the cost of 90 units, however many units you sold. Okay, let's go to gross profit. Okay. Oh, what am I doing? Sales of 4,000,
50.
cost of goods sold. Minus. And so our gross profit. Sometimes called, oops, sometimes called gross margin, same thing.
$2,000.
Crazy.
Yeah, and again, then this is, it's the same thing, but it's just not as obvious, what we're doing here, but it's really the same thing. Like you sold 90 units, you gotta find the cost of them. How much did you pay for them? And we're assuming that the first one's in where the first one sold. Okay, now, now we have another headache though. And that is up here. Oh, here, let's do this. So we sold 40 units from this layer. This is gonna look silly, but hey, it ain't like I haven't looked silly before, so. So from this beginning inventory, there's 0 left. So this one's really gone. You don't have to put this in, by the way. This is, I'm just kind of putting it all together, and we're gonna do the same thing down here. Wait, I can't do it that way. Down here we sold 50 units.
Yeah,
So from this layer, we still have
20.
yep. So this is our kind of our ending inventories here, are these blue ones. Turquoise, what we're gonna call it. Now notice this first one is gone, so this one is really kind of doesn't really matter, right? I mean, it's gone. So this is the ending inventory. We have 20 still left in this layer,
Mhm.
and 80 in
The last one.
21, yeah, 121. Coming down here. I don't think there's any way I'm going to get it on the same page. I'm just going to kind of come down here at it. Okay, so any inventory. So we still have ironically, I redid this handout. I should have respaced these in the handout. But, oh well, water under the bridge. That'll be for the next group. The next group will get a really good handout. It doesn't help you guys, but be happy that those coming after you will not have to endure this lousy handout. All right. 25 and 30. $500, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2,400.
240. 240.
2,400.
240. Put that. 400.
2,400.
Hold on a second.
We are actually.
Let me. Okay, so this is 2,900.
Yeah,
And so this will be our total ending inventory be 2,900. This starting in February, this will be the first one in. This 13, these 20, we have a 25. We'll sell those first, and then
Mm-hmm.
work on this layer and so on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
it's not a
That's a
difficult
lot.
concept, but it's tedious. You know, it's not like but like chapter
It's
3.
tedious.
Chapter 3 was a pain. You know, it's
It's
hard. This is
nerve-wracking.
hard, but it's tedious too. Okay, I tell you what,
Easy, tedious. That's enough for today. No, I'm just playing.
no, it's not. We had one more to do,
I know.
but one more to do, and then we'll call it a day. I tell you what, I'll be quiet. How about that? I'll be as quiet as I can. You won't hear me. You won't even know I'm here. And see if you can
Quiet on
this
the
one.
next one.
And yeah, and don't be afraid.
Okay.
Give it a shot. Don't be afraid of making a mistake.
okay. Let's go.
Be quiet.
Ah,
We don't need you reading out loud. That is so era. Let's go.
$300.
There you go.
Ah,
Mute your thing. Talk to yourself.
I know. That's the only way I'm able to.
But you got to mute it. We don't want to hear you. All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's make sure we got the same numbers. Okay, so you guys got total sales of 6,000.
Yep.
The really hard part, cost of goods sold, 2,740.
So that's the hard part?
Yeah, did you guys get this? 2,740?
Yes.
Oh.
Mhm.
Well, if that's easy, then this whole chapter will be easy. That'll be great. But
Yeah. That's
yeah, so this is kind of the tedious one. I got a bloody nose just now. I haven't had a bloody nose since I was 10 years old. But anyway, so so this is the cost of it. And again, we just take the layers 130 and 170. So this is our gross profit 3260.
Mhm.
And the second tedious part about this is figuring out what's in the ending inventory. So this first layer is completely gone.
Mhm.
It's gone and it's never coming back. Oh, I didn't mean to do that to it, but let's see here. So this is, yeah, this layer, whole layer is gone. We can ignore it. Down here, we don't no longer have 280 in that layer. We sold 70, so there's 110 in it.
Mhm.
And we didn't sell any out of this layer. Or I should probably use the accounting talk as pools, but it's kind of a strange term for them. Okay, so this is our ending. This is what was not sold. So this is what was sold. This is what's not sold. So coming down here. $110 at 10, I think is 1,100.
Mhm.
So I think that's it.
Yeah.
2 times 7.
Yeah, this is straightforward.
It's tedious.
It is, yeah.
So anyway, just give you a heads up. Next week we're going to start doing the last in first out, which is assumes the last one's in where the first one sold, and I'll save it for next week as to why we do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think this week the chapter 3 test is due. Is it?
Yep.
Okay, so so no homework. Just get the chapter 3 tested. Some of you already got it in. I haven't graded them yet. I like to get a few more to grade because just to be more consistent with the grading. You know, if I take off 2 points for this, I'll make sure that I take off 2 points for everybody for this.
Oh, okay.
And just for consistency, it's good to get a few more. But anyway, yeah, so that'll be due. So we will stop here.
Thank you.
And you have a good weekend.
You too.
You as
And
well. Thank you.
you're gonna,
Thank you. Thank you.
yes, guys.
Bye.
Good evening.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Back this out a little bit so we can take a better look at it. So this is number 5. No, yeah, 5.